to our video on creating a flyer. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking like that right now because I'm doing a terrible impression. In this video, you're going to be making a flyer, and in doing so, you're obviously going to be learning the parts of a flyer. We're also going to learn how to insert pictures and format those in Word, as well as do some other formatting effects. Flyers are typically one-page documents and they advertise different things. Typically they advertise events like parties, camps, meetings, but they could also advertise things for sale, or in our case, we're going to create a flyer advertising a lost pet or a lost item. So if you have not done so already, open a blank Word document, and our first step is going to be to do a file, save as, and to make sure that we browse to our computer apps folder and our proper week that we're in. And go ahead and name this our lost pet flyer, and then you can do a save and we're ready to begin creating our flyer. The first thing we want to do before we even start creating our flyer is to make sure that we see the ruler at the top and the side of our page. Now it should automatically do this for you, but if it doesn't, go ahead and go up to the View tab on the top and make sure that the View Ruler box is checked. Now the next item on our pre-flight checklist before we begin creating our flyer is to change the theme of our document. And the theme of our document
is a unified set of formatting, colors, and fonts. So, for example, let's say I'm making a flyer for the Viking. I probably want to use the colors purple and gold. Or if I was making a flyer for Earth, I probably want to use some colors that are earthy, so brown, green, blue, etc.
So our theme is something that affects the design of the entire page. So we're going to use this Design tab at the top, and you're going to see that on the left we have this button here for themes. And if we click that button, we're going to see a list of all of the different themes that are available to us, and each theme you're going to see has slightly different fonts that are in the upper left-hand corner of the thumbnail, and the colors that are available for that theme are shown below. Now let's say I go ahead and I choose Circuit for my theme. It seems like nothing has really happened. But if I go back to my Home tab, which is where all my formatting is, I'll be able to see my theme change in a couple of places. The first is in my font menu. Notice my theme font is now switched to TW Century. And the second place is in my colors. So if I click my colors, I now have very different colors available to me than before. So let's try this with a different theme. Again, I'll go to Design, I'll go to Themes, and maybe I'm going to choose Berlin this time. And again, seems like nothing's happened. But if I go back to my Home tab, I check my font, I now have a theme font of Trebuchet, and if I checked my colors, I've switched over my colors to more reds and oranges. So go ahead and use your Design tab to change the theme for your entire document. And do see that over here on the right, if you didn't want to change both the color and the font together in the theme, you can change them separately. So I could just change my color bars by choosing from the colors, or I could change my theme fonts from choosing from the fonts. The other design options I have for my page that are kind of fun to use is to change the background of the whole page color. So maybe I choose a light tan accent, and I could also put a border around my entire page using this borders and shading box. I'm going to skip the border for now, but feel free to do that if you'd like.
Flyers are made up of 3 parts, and the first part is the headline. It's going to be the largest thing on our page. It's what grabs our attention and tells us what goes on.
So our headline is going to be the word lost, and then whatever pet or item that you want to have being lost. And I'm going to have lost my Slothy. Oh no. And again, now it's important to format our text so that our headline appears the biggest item on our page. It grabs our eye, catches our attention. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to highlight Lost Slothy, and then all my formatting's on my Home tab, and you can do a variety of different things. Maybe I change my font face. I'm definitely going to want to make it nice and big. I'm going to want to center it. I might want to change the color of my font so it really sticks out. Maybe I want to add a text effect even. Whatever you would like to do to format your headline to make it stand out, go ahead and do that.
So once your headline is formatted, we're ready to move on to our second part of the flyer, which is the body of our flyer. And the body is going to contain all of our supporting details and information. The biggest mistake people make here is they try to cram a whole bunch of information onto the body, and it's not an essay. We want people to be able to glance at our flyer and see the main point. So we're not really going to be using full sentences. We just want to describe our Slothy that was lost, maybe what his name was, where I lost him, and maybe if I'm going to give a reward out for him.
So I'm going to press enter a couple of times to put my body in the middle of my page. Think of a person where their head is at the top of themselves, and so our headline's at the top of our page. Think of our body as our belly, and we want to get in our belly in the middle of our page, and so that's why I've pressed enter. And now I can do some of my supporting details. So maybe my sloth is light brown, goes by the name of Sid, last seen in park, and a $15 reward. And again, I'm not doing full sentences. These are brief points. And right now I'm on to 2 pages in my flyer, and that's not okay. We only want a flyer of 1 page. And we also want our headline to be the biggest thing. Our body should not be as flashy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to format my body by highlighting whatever I want to format. And I'm going to drop down my font size a bunch. I'm actually going to bullet this because they're brief items. I might left align. Again, I might go down some more my font size. Maybe I change my font face. Maybe I take off my font effect and I do a different color if I wanted to do that. Whatever it is you want to do to format your body, go ahead. Just make sure it's smaller than your headline and it is less flashy.
The last part of our flyer is actually called the signature line, and that signature line always goes at the very bottom of the flyer, and it's the more information section.
So where do I go, or who do I contact for more information? In our flyer,
we want to have our phone number on there, so if that somebody finds our lost Slothy, they can call us and they can be like, yo, I found your lost sloth. Please come pick him up.
So again, I'm going to press enter a couple times to separate my body from my signature line. And the reason they call this a signature line is because when you're writing a letter and then you sign your name, that's at the bottom of the letter, and the signature line is at the bottom of our flyer.
Dear Darla, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. Your scum between my toes. Love, Alfalfa. Okay.
So my signature line is going to tell my dear Darla that she can call 507-962-3716. Yeah, that's my parents' number if you want to holla at them. And when we format our signature line, we do want this to stick out a little more than our body, but we don't want it to be as big as our headline. So I might do the same things as my headline in terms of centering it and bumping up my font size a little. I might go back to that green font just so it's a little similar. I might even do the same font face. So take some time to format your signature line so that, again, I don't want it as big as my headline. I just want it to stand out from my body so that people see that as well.
Okay, so here's my flyer, and it's looking pretty decent, but something is missing. And that something is a picture of my Slothy. So the first rule to inserting any picture into a Word document is to save your picture. So right now, go out, go to Google, wherever, find a picture of whatever animal you lost and save it. After you've got your picture saved, you're ready to actually insert it into your document. And so you need to tell Word where in the document you want to put your picture. Right now my cursor is blinking down here. That's not where I want my picture. So make sure you click where you want your picture. So I'm going to click up here. That's where I want my picture. And then I want to insert a picture. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab. It's not rocket science. And I want a picture. So I'm going to click Picture. And I'm going to drive and I'm going to find my picture of my Slothy, or in this case your pet. Here it is. And I can click Insert. Yay! And there's Slothy. Now whenever we insert a picture into a Word document, that picture is automatically selected, and I can tell that it's selected because it's got all these dots around the edges. And those dots are called the sizing handles, and they allow us to resize the image, so I could make it bigger or smaller. If I click on those dots, if I click and drag, I can make it smaller. Okay, I could make it wider if I wanted to make it wider. Or there's also this at the top, and that's a rotation dot. So if I click and I move my mouse over to the right, it can rotate Slothia to the right. If I go to the left, it goes to the left. So I do want you to resize your picture so that the picture stands out on the page, but we still want everything to fit on one page.
The other thing I want you to notice is that anytime a picture is selected, this little white box will pop up next to it. If I hover over, it says a layout options, which lets us choose how our object interacts with the text around it. So right now, if I select it, I have my picture in line with my text. And what that means is my picture can only move in line or wherever my text is going. I cannot freely move it about my page. If I choose layout options and decide to wrap my text around my picture, I'm going to be able to freely move my picture around my page. And there's 6 different ways you can do this. I can do square, tight, through, top and bottom, behind text, or in front of text. And each of those little thumbnails will show what the picture looks like in relation to the text. So if I choose tight, my text is going to be very, very tight to my picture, and it will wrap around it, and I'm able to move my picture anywhere I want within my page. If I chose something like in front of text, my picture will go completely in front of text. Behind text, my picture's behind my text. So I like sticking with square or tight because that means my text will still kind of go around my picture, and I can move that picture wherever I want.
The other most important thing for you to notice when you select a picture in Word is that our ribbon has changed. When I have my picture selected, the ribbon actually adds this Picture Tools Format tab up here. And if I actually go back to my document and I deselect my picture, that Picture Tools option tab is gone. So if I want to see that Picture Tools option, I need to click and select my picture. And this Picture Tools Formatting tab lets us do a lot of different things. For now, I do want you to see that on the furthest right side, we have this size option, where if you don't like using the sizing handles, you can type in your own height or width of your picture. Or you could also crop your picture by clicking that. And when you click crop, these black handles appear on your picture, drag up, and if I wanted to save that cropping, I would just have to select crop, and now Slothia has been cropped. Our Picture Tools Formatting tab also has a lot of different formatting options that I can add to my picture, and the easiest way to do this is by doing a picture style up here, which is a predefined set of formatting characteristics. And if you just hover over these styles, you can see what these characteristics would look like, and there's a drop-down menu, so there's a lot more. And it doesn't actually apply the style until you click. Do notice that they each have titles when you hover over them. So if this is the style I want, then I have to click it before it gets applied to my picture. And if you don't want to use one of these predefined picture styles, you can always choose any of these options on the right to add formatting effects to your picture. So you could add a picture border in purple, or under picture effects, you can choose any of the shadows, a reflection, glow, soft edges, a bevel, or a 3D rotation. So do go ahead right now and add some effects to your picture. Congratulations! You have just created your very own flyer. And if you want to continue adding any formatting to your headline, your picture, your body, or your signature line, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, when your flyer looks just swell, make sure that you do a final save of your flyer.
And then you can submit this
to your flyer video tutorial assignment on Schoology.
What can I say, Ron? The guy's a loser. I'll see you.
Loser.
Yeah.
Oh, sir! I saw it! Some angry member of the kitchen staff. Did you not tip them? Oh, the terrorists, they ran that way. It was a run by fruiting. I'll get them, sir. Don't worry.